Guys, welcome back. It's Kai with Chinese Renaissance Man, and today I'm here with my buddy Eric Adorno. He has 9 years of military experience, and as a complete civilian, I'm here to interview him about his experience actually coming out of the military and what the transition to civilian life was like. But we may also get into some cool military stories. But without further ado, Eric, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah. Thanks, Kai. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, my name's Eric. Like Kai was saying, I have 9 years in the military. I did 4 years active, 5 years in the National Guard. I was in the Airborne Artillery Unit while I was active, stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And then I did 2 years in the Arizona National Guard. And then I moved back to Nevada and finished out the last three of my National Guard years in the Nevada National Guard as an MP.
That's amazing, dude. That's super amazing. I'm curious, dude. So, like, what is the biggest difference between military life and civilian life that you found?
So yeah, dude, military life, it's very structured, very ordered. You know, you have that routine every single day that you have to partake in, right? So, first thing you got to wake up, you go to PT, get showered, get done with PT, shower, get dressed, go eat breakfast, form up again, and then you perform your your tasks, your duties for the day. And it's usually anywhere between a 10 to 12 hour day, depending on what you're doing. And some days is longer, especially if you're out in the field, like the field days when we were preparing to deploy to Afghanistan, like we were out in the field for, 3, 4 weeks at a time. So, days were much longer. We were training a lot more. And it was a lot more work, a lot more structured. Whereas in the civilian world, you're not working again, 20 hours a day, 15 hours a day, whatever. I mean, maybe some guys are. Good for those guys. But and it's not as structured. It's up to you to determine what your schedule is, what your routine is, how you want to live your life, things like that. It's not determined for you. It's up to you to live on your own terms. So it's a lot different in that aspect.
Got it. I appreciate that insight, man. So, what was it like then, dude? Like, you have all this structure for 9 years, and then you come out of the military without structure designed for you, and you have to create your own structure. What was that journey like? Like, did you come out and just like lay on the beach in Thailand for a while, or like what happened, man?
Oh, dude, I wish. That sounds way better than what I
What'd you
did.
what did you do?
I came out of the military, bro, and I literally sat my ass on a couch and played Call of Duty for freaking 10 hours a day because I
Wow.
had the freedom to do whatever I want. At that point, I'm like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to enjoy a little bit of my freedom. And then eventually I only did that for a couple weeks, but and then I finally was like, all right, well, school's about to start up. I was originally got out and I was going to go to a school called Motorcycle Mechanic Institute, MMI. I was going to go be a Harley Davidson mechanic, and then
Ooh,
I decided I didn't want to wrench on engines forever. I have mechanics that are in my family, and I see how they are, and their bodies are just destroyed. So
got
I'm
it.
like, I have enough issues with my body from the military, so I'm like, I don't need to do that. So then I
I feel
decided to
you.
actually just go to apply to one of the local community colleges in Arizona, and just started pursuing a college education. And dude, as far as jobs, man, like it was hard because I couldn't keep a job. I worked like a warehouse job and I quit. It was just awful. Got treated like crap. I mean, and then it was just go from that job to I went to like a sales job selling Cutco knives, and that was cool. But I just really couldn't stand the cold calling aspect of it. So and then I ended up moving back to Reno, which then I stopped that job. But yeah, college education was the one, and it was the same thing with my college education. I didn't know what I wanted to do, man. I was just kind of spinning and just twirling and figuring out who I am as a person, what I wanted to do with my life, and what to do. So like eventually, I landed on getting a degree in information systems and pursuing the IT field. And, that's what I do now. I'm currently an IT manager for Panasonic Energy.
Well, dude, congrats on your success, man. That's awesome. Um, it sounds like it was a long and bumpy road and a solo road. Like you had to walk this by yourself. Did you get any education coming out of the military for this transition to civilian life? Did you have any support? And then what benefits are available actually to vets coming out for this kind of transition?
Yeah. So when I got out, there was not really any education coming out. There's some courses I had to attend, but didn't give you really any kind of valuable information on what resources and benefits are available to you when you get out of the military. And the VA has tons of benefits. So, the educational benefits being one of them is a huge one, and especially with 1911 happening, those that joined before 9/11, you had the Montgomery GI Bill, and then after 9/11, now we have the 9/11 GI Bill. So now you even have more educational benefits. And even then, like once you use up your 9/11 GI Bill, if you're disabled, if you have a 30%, uh, actually, I think it's 10%, 10 or 30%, I can't remember exactly. But if you have some sort of disability, a 10 to 30% disability rating, you could also qualify for something called the Chapter 31 Folk Rehab, which
Okay.
is essentially another educational benefit that will help you pay for your college tuition. And that one's even better, dude. That one, if you don't have a laptop, they'll pay for a laptop for you. They'll get you a printer. They'll get you whatever you need to be successful for your college education. Like they will hook you up with whatever it is that you need to be successful. So there's a ton of educational benefits.
That's awesome, man. Which of these did you actually use for yourself?
I used all of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I used the Montgomery when I was at MMI, and then when I transferred over to the community college, I started on the 9/11 GI Bill.
Okay.
Um, Dude, it took me 7 years to get my bachelor's degree, and that's just
It's all
because
good,
it
man.
was just that thing. I was just spinning, dude. I kept changing my degree and didn't know what I wanted to do. My dad was battling cancer, and so I kind of dropped out for a little bit to,
Yeah.
kind of help my dad, and he ended up passing away. So I took, even more time off of school, and then finally went back and finished my degree. But it was just one of those things. So it just took me forever to finish it. So I ended up using all of my 9/11 and then switched over to the Chapter 31 Voc Rehab and use that up too. So, but now I'm doing my master's degree. I'm doing an MBA program right now, and I don't have any educational benefits for that because I use them all up. So now but luckily the company I work for, Panasonic Energy, they offer tuition reimbursement, so that's helping me out with my tuition as well.
That's great, man. That's great. So just to recap, man, there's three main GI bills: Montgomery Bill, 9/11 Bill, and then the Volk Rehab Bill. Is that it?
Yeah, Voc Rehab. Yeah, Voc Rehab is it's called Chapter 31.
Chapter 31.
That's Yep.
Okay.
That's through the VA, and then 9/11 GI Bill. You would apply for the 9/11 GI Bill through the Veteran Services offices at whatever university that you're going to, and
Okay.
then but you want to also with that like you want to make sure that when you're transitioning from the 9/11 GI Bill to the vocational rehab GI Bill, um, I guess the Voc Rehab is not really a GI Bill. I apologize. That's just a VA program. But if you're
Mm.
transitioning from 9/11 to Voc Rehab, you want to make sure that you apply like a couple months before your 9/11 GI Bill ends, and that will help you get that higher BAH because you get paid BAH, which is basic housing allowance. So
Mm.
when I was 9/11 and Chapter 31, I got paid about $2,200 a month to help with living costs and living expenses as well. So, but
That's
yeah,
that's
so you
freaking
have
that's super awesome, dude. So let's say like I'm fresh out, bro. I'm fresh out. Like, what would you recommend I do first? Um, like, dude, like one path that you could do. Eric is currently creating an amazing community for vets. And we're talking about what kind of services he could offer. This is just like behind the scenes info, and there's so much here, dude. Like I'm sure so many vets. don't know about all these bills like Montgomery, 9/11, Voc Rehab. Like these all sound amazing. Like what first, what is the max coverage for all these bills? What is the max coverage?
So the Montgomery is based upon how much you paid into it when you were in the military. I don't think they really do that now. I think that's kind of an older GI Bill. I think that's kind of phased out for all that. That's for the older dudes. So I think everybody
Okay,
has a 911 now. So
okay,
um 911, it will cover, I believe it's 36 months of education benefits. So
okay.
it's, and that's again, that will pay you BAH, that pays your tuition, books and fees. If you need a parking pass, so for your parking pass, things like that. So um yeah, and it's month based. So if you're only going to take one class opposed to a full load, dude, don't use your 911 GI Bill if you're only going to take one class,
Mm,
because it's going to go against that 36-month time period, and you're
yeah.
going to kind of shoot yourself in the foot, and you're going to waste your benefit on one class. So if you're going to use it, make sure that you're taking a full load so you're getting the most out of the educational benefit. Um,
Eric, real quick, dude, do you think that also is a subtle incentive to get the transition to happen faster? Because it's 36 months. It's like, if it was me, dude, I'd be taking more than a full course. So I might be doing a little bit extra, dude, just to try to squeeze it all in.
oh, absolutely. You could absolutely do it a much faster. And if you take more, do a full load, and you're doing summer school and winter school. I know some schools offer classes in the winter. Yeah, like dude,
Yeah.
if you can knock your degree out in 2 3 years, man. And next thing you know, if you do that, man, I mean, it's going to be a rough go because that's a lot of work. but but if you want to put your head down and do the work,
Right.
dude, you can absolutely do that. And then you have that time on your GI Bill that's left over, which you could, if you want to go and do a master's degree, you can use that leftover time for your master's degree or a doctorate's degree, whatever degree you want to pursue after that.
Okay, so it's just time. 36 months. That's what you get. That's it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay. That's so
yeah.
cool, dude. Like I never knew that as a civilian. Like that's so interesting. We've heard GI Bill. I've heard GI Bill across the years, but like I never actually knew what it entailed, the coverage. This is some cool information, man. So what about the Voc Rehab, dude? What are the specifications for that one? Coverage.
Yeah, so the Voc Rehab, it's not necessarily coverage, it's just more of a job placement program. So
Oh.
um, I've seen, so like me, like I tried using Voc Rehab for my master's degree. I applied for it again, but because I've already have uh, employment, like I got denied because I already have a job that's within the degree that I pursued in my undergrad.
Mm,
So I would say if you're going to use Voc Rehab, make sure that before you go and find your professional career, use it before then, because then it shows that you still don't have gainful employment, right? So you're still looking for that. You're still trying to create the credentials to get the job that you want. So if you're really trying to expand your educational knowledge, then I'd say use all your benefits and go as far as you can with it.
I love it,
uh,
man.
so you can use it. I've seen dudes that are using vocational rehab for masters. Though I've seen some dudes that will are using it for their doctorate's degree as well. So it's just based upon, like, one, do you have gainful employment in the industry that you want to go in, and what, like, is the average degree level that the industry you want to go in that they have. So for IT, it's a bachelor's degree. So that's another reason they denied me for my master's degree. So, but if you're trying to be a college professor, I mean, a lot of those professors, you have to have a doctorate degree. So ultimately, they would, it's like they pay all the way up to your doctorate degree so you can become a college professor. So it's kind of
That's
getting based upon the career path you want to go.
got it. That's amazing, dude. So what is the coverage for that? Is it also month based? What is it?
No, that's not month based. It's just like I said, if it's going to take you, if you have, it just takes you to the end of your degree.
Wow. It takes
So
you to the end of your degree.
yeah, so like I said, if you want to become a college professor, then ultimately you will be able to, uh, it would pay for your college education to become a college professor, right?
That's freaking amazing, dude. Dang.
So
Wow. That's super amazing, dude. So Voc Rehab is for people um as you said, in the 10 to 30% disability. Is that it? Or
You have to have a minimum of 10 to 30%. I can't remember the exact disability rating you have to have. I want to say it's 10%. You have to have a disability rating to be eligible for it. So, but you can be anywhere from 10 to 100% disabled, and you qualify for the Chapter 31.
Gotcha, the chapter 31. Okay. That's great info, dude. And this is great for continuing education, as you said, before getting into a vocation, if you want to go into that vocation that requires a PhD or a master's degree, right?
Yep, yep, yep,
Okay. Okay.
yep. And then it's great too because if you have if a more educational benefits, if you're actually 100% disabled vet, then like myself, I'm 100% disabled vet. One thing that you also get is something called the Chapter 35, which
Hmm.
which is for your kids. So your kids could actually use the benefit and help pay for college tuition.
Wow. Okay, that's a great perk. Um, but what does it mean to be like, for instance, you said you're 100% disability. What does that mean, dude?
Yeah,
Like
so yeah, I mean, you have to apply for, you have to submit claims to the VA. This is one thing that I did not know. Like they don't tell you this on when you're getting out. So
okay.
this is so the recommend one first the recommendation that I would have for anybody getting out is when they go to the VA to apply for any kind of claims or anything like that, go talk to a veteran services representative, or a VSR,
Mm.
or you can contact some other type of veteran organization. Usually the states, like Nevada has a Nevada Veteran Service office. So, and they also have veteran service representatives you can go to, or there's other different veteran organizations that offer veteran service representative services that will help with you filing your claims. But definitely go find one of these organizations, go find a veteran service representative, and they will help you with the process of submitting your claims to get the disability rating that you should have. So for me, like it's just an accumulation of all of the medical issues that I have over in the my time in the military. So
Mm.
uh like my joints, my ankles, my knees, my shoulders, my back, like it's all jacked up because well, I used to jump out of airplanes, and that's not very forgiving on your body when you hit the ground. So
Yeah,
uh
man, that's wild, man. So let's get into a bit more of like the experience, just for fun and for the people to understand. Like, so you were you paratrooper? Is that what it's called or what?
yeah, I was a paratrooper. So I was airborne artillery. So uh I was certified to jump out of planes with cannons.
What? That's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
yeah. It was
Wait, wait,
awesome.
wait. So how does that work, bro? Is it you with a buddy and you're like holding this cannon and you jump out? Like what?
Oh no way, dude! You can't hold a cannon, dude. It's a the cannons that we worked on were the Mike 777s. They are 155 howitzer, so they're very big cannons. So
Okay.
essentially, when I say jump out with the cannon, it's like they're dropping the cannon. So the cannon has its own chutes, and then you're just
Okay.
dropping with you have your own chute, and you're dropping with the cannon. So,
Got it. Dude, what was the first time like jumping out of a plane? What does that feel like?
dude, that's the scariest damn thing in the world. Like you don't know what's gonna happen. You're scared. You're like, dude, but it's also just invigorating, dude. Just it's exciting. You're nervous. It's scary. It's because I mean, who in their right mind is gonna jump out of a perfectly good airplane,
That's a great line, man. Eric,
right?
that's a great line, bro. Who in their right mind is gonna jump out of a perfectly good airplane? That's hilarious, dog.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, and that's the thing in the military though. Like when you go and become a paratrooper, like you don't have a choice. Like you're going out that damn thing, dude. The jump master. If you're standing there at the door, they're gonna kick you out the door.
Have you seen
So,
people who've been kicked out of the door?
oh yeah.
Wait, so
Uh,
the jump master just gets to Sparta kick people like
yeah,
out the
pretty
door?
much, pretty much. I mean, if there's times like I have seen like they just wouldn't go out the door, and it's like they grab him and they throw him to the side and make him sit down, but that guy loses his jump status and no longer gets to jump.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Dude, how
Yeah,
many jumps have you made over the course of your service? And thanks for your service, by the way.
thank you. I
I should have
appreciate
said
that.
that. I should have said that way sooner, dude. My apologies.
No, you're good. I mean, it was a while ago, but I know I have anywhere between 40 to 50 jumps. I
Okay.
really wanted a Black Hawk jump. I really wanted to do a Black Hawk jump, but I never got to do that.
A black what jump? Black op?
A Black Hawk, jump
Black
out of a
hawk.
Black Hawk. Yeah, I wanted to jump
Okay.
out of a Black Hawk.
It's a plane? A
It's a
helicopter?
helicopter.
Okay.
Helicopter.
Got it. I am totally unversed in anything, most things military. So my apologies. A Black
No, you're
Hawk
good.
helicopter. Okay.
Black Hawk, yeah. I want to do that. Jump out of a. I never got to jump out of a Chinook or there's another helicopter or anything like that. I just all the jumps I had were out of the C-17.
Okay. Got it. I mean, perfectly good C-17, man. Perfectly good C-17.
Yeah, it was. But I'll tell you what, man, if you want to know where the most peaceful place on earth is,
Mm,
it's up there, man.
really?
Oh yeah. Once your parachute opens and you're just floating there, dude, it's just you can see just the curvature of the earth. You can see miles and miles and miles away.
Wow.
And and it's just silent, dude. You just hear the wind blowing and it's just absolutely peaceful. But
It, it sounds like a
uh,
meditative experience almost.
it was, dude. It was cool. And that's what made me want to keep jumping just because of that. Like it was peaceful. That's what it was.
Mm,
It was just peaceful. And I loved it.
interesting.
But
Wow. So like it's like the eye of the storm of a hurricane. Like you're jumping out, you're deploying for this thing, but for this moment, you get to be in the eye of the storm and it's peaceful. And
yeah.
that's beautiful, man. Have you thought about doing like diving, like scuba diving, like to kind of, because I've heard divers have the same kind of experience, just silent. It's peaceful. You ever tried diving?
So I've never dove. I never did any of that. My dad was when he was alive, he was a certified scuba diver, so he used to go and do it all the time, but I never did it. I have gone abalone diving though, and that was pretty cool.
Okay, cool, cool.
Honestly, I was probably more scared doing that than I was jumping out of planes.
Why?
Dude, sharks are like my thing, dude. Sharks are my fear. Like,
Okay, I got you. I got you,
not
bro.
only that, like that weekend that we went, bro, it was like we were talking to the guy at the equipment rental, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, like 2 weeks ago there was a shark attack down the beach." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's great, fantastic. That definitely makes me want to do this even more."
That's exactly what I wanted to hear right as I'm getting in the water, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so luckily, like
Uh,
where we went and dove, it was like in this little like cove, so it was kind of not just out in the abyss. So, but I went to like the edge of it, dude, and I was just like standing there looking into the deep blue, and I was like, bro, I don't know, man. It's like I'm sitting there just thinking, I'm like, dude, a shark could be fucking swimming at me right now, and I have no idea.
it's yeah. No, it's possible, dude. It's possible. All right, so let's bring it back, dude. Like one thing that I heard, well, you said you took 7 years to finish your degree, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it was because there was a you were trying to figure out what you wanted to do. There was like a lot of options, right?
Yeah.
Um, did you receive any support as a vet for career counseling or career pathways? Was there any support on that regard or not?
So I didn't receive any support because while I was going through it, I didn't know that there was that benefit there. But yes, they do. Like the VA has programs that will offer career support. The veteran services and they will offer career support. Like usually the schools will have career support for vets as well. So it's like I know I went to UNR and they had a veteran military center and they had like people for like come in and help with like resume building. They would offer mock interviews. They would offer a bunch of stuff that would help with developing your skills to, after college to be able to secure a professional job once you graduate. So there's tons of different benefits out there, and this is also one benefit that I am trying to not that I'm trying that I will be implementing into my business for these transitional services is offering, resume building, mock interviews, and things like that. Help with job prep. So that's one service that I will be providing for vets as well.
That's fantastic, dude. I mean, that's a really, really big help, like resume building, mock interviews, just helping people because you've done it, bro. Like you're now a manager at Panasonic Energy. And that's yeah, it's super necessary, I think. Even for civilians, bro. Like it was super helpful for me to get my resume looked at, get everything worked out, and to do some mock interviews with some friends. Um, Actually, hold on. Let me think. I feel like I did a mock interview somewhere, but I can't remember. Um, but it would have been helpful. But it would have been helpful
that
for sure. Um,
I will say mock interviews are huge, especially if you don't really, if you're not a very good interview, if you get really nervous, things like that, like that's like if you get nervous, the hiring managers, they're gonna know, they're gonna sense that, they're gonna know that you're nervous, and they want somebody that's gonna be confident. And I mean, it's okay if you're nervous, everybody gets nervous, right? But ultimately, if you're going in there with zero preparation, you're going to be more nervous and you're not going to answer the questions effectively
mm,
and the best that you could, as you would if you actually do some mock interviews
mm.
and understand the types of questions that are going to be asked to you. And then, you can help with put that nervousness at ease so you can really be the best version of you while you're in that interview.
I love that, man. That's great insight. Um, Eric, just out of curiosity, man, what do you think are the most transferable skill sets and mindsets from the military that you apply in your civilian life and in your work life specifically, dude? Like, what are the most transferable skill sets that, like, if you were having an interview, what could you talk about and leverage, and then be like, yo, this transfers over perfectly for this operations of this. This transfers perfectly to this. What I learned here in the military perfectly will serve your organization in this way. Like, is there anything that you think veterans could really emphasize during their interviews and stuff like that?
Yeah, for me, discipline and leadership, you know, uh, leadership doesn't necessarily mean that you're in a leadership position, right? We're all inherently leaders. We're a
Mm,
leader of ourselves. We're a leader to other people. We're a leader, and when I mean other people, to like, siblings or cousins or friends, like we may that look up to us. So like so you don't have to be in a leadership position to be a leader and to
mm,
have those leadership skills. So if you and leadership skills and discipline, these are things that you get from the military, right? So and then if you're disciplined, then obviously I think you're going to be able to focus more. You're going to be disciplined to be able to do your work and make sure you hit your deadlines on time. So and when you work in a massive Fortune 500 company where it's very fast paced, hitting your deadlines is essential. uh, so and then having those leadership skills in order to make sure that you're staying on top, you're helping lead a team, you're leading a project, and that's going to help you drive that project to completion and hit that deadline successfully.
I love that, bro. That's fantastic. And one thing that I thought of too is like coachability, right? Do you think most vets are pretty coachable?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And that's because as a vet, I mean, you have to be coachable, especially in the military, because you have to learn different skills in order to you know thrive in the military, especially if like you deploy, then you have to have those skills in order to freaking really be
Survive, man.
successful over there, survive. It's not necessarily about you, right? It's about the people to the left, to the right of you, that make sure that they're coming home safely. And as long as
Mm,
they're doing that, then you're going to come home safely. And obviously, I deployed as um, I actually got to deploy as on an artillery unit and shoot artillery overseas. But I'm sure like there's a bunch of different tactics and leadership skill in different units. So I'm sure infantry is going to be different than artillery, or cav scouts, things like that. And same thing with special operations. Special operations is going to have a completely different tactic when it comes to leadership and achieving the mission. So
gotcha.
by the way,
Yeah.
special operations, if you guys are all about leadership and somebody that is an ex Navy SEAL. Jocko Willink is definitely a dude to look up. Look up his books. Look up his material. Like that dude is legit when it comes to leadership.
I was thinking about bringing up Jocko because I read a little bit. I'm not sure if I read. I don't even. I can't remember. But I learned extreme ownership from him,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
that is a badass concept, bro. And it's helped me so much in my own life. Like when I take responsibility for everything, I can influence everything. Like, and it's an extremely empowered state of mind. So I'm really grateful to Jocko for that. It's cool to hear from a vet too that like he's legit. So like that just validates it more. But off the worth of the concept alone, like I really enjoyed his presentation of that. And then what was it like? Like what's it called? Mission overview or intent, strategic intent, or what does he call it? Like there's an overarching intent for this mission, and within that intent, as long as we get to that intent, the details are negotiable. But dude, I forgot what. Anyway, it was a great book,
Yeah. No, I don't remember as well, dude. I know it's been a little while since I've read it as well. That's one I definitely need to go back and reread. But yeah, that one's a good one. Did you listen to it on audio or did you actually read the book?
I might have listened to it on audio. I can't remember, dude. This was like in college, like 2016. So yeah, it's been a
Yeah,
while for me
yeah,
too.
yeah. Definitely one to re-hit for sure. But yeah, I listened to it on audio as well. I like the audio just because I think you get a little bit more out of it. Same thing with David Goggins.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so his book Can't Hurt Me, like that one on audio is fantastic just because they do it in a sense of like the narrator is actually reading a part of the book and then they stop and he has a conversation with David Goggins and actually talks about that portion of the book and his experience. So you get so much more value out of listening to it on audio than you do if you just read the book.
I love that, dude. Thanks. And Goggins' voice is so iconic, dude. Like it's so
Yeah.
it's Goggins immediately, dude. So
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%. No, I definitely aspire to be like those dudes. Like those guys are, they lead the way when it comes to being top tier vets, man. And I would love to be on that level at some point. But they were both special operations guys. I never was a went into special operations. It's one thing I thought about doing when I was in, but I went a different route. I decided to get out and pursue a college education and professional career. But yeah,
and that's beautiful, bro. Everyone's got their own path. They got their own way, uh, at their own pace. So it's all good. Um, One thing I wanted to say, like coachability has been a main thing that every millionaire and billionaire mentor that we've had on say that they look for in their mentees. So like if the mentee is coachable, like that's who they take on. If the mentee actually listens and applies what they share, like those are the ideal mentees for these millionaire and billionaire mentors. So coachability is a huge asset in the business world for sure. Um, One thing that was a curiosity that popped up for me, Eric, is like, did you have to shift your communication style at all from the military to the civilian to the work life, bro? Was there a necessity to shift your communication style at all? Did you have to tweak it or?
yeah, I can't say the F word every other word. Yeah, so I
Okay.
mean, in the civilian world, I mean, obviously going into the professional environment, that's if you're in a small environment with like if I'm in my office with my counterparts or things like that, yeah, like we talk normal, we cuss, we do whatever. Right? But if you're in a meeting and you're in a meeting with your executives or other leaders throughout the organization, like you can't be dropping the F bomb every other word in the meeting. Like they're not going to take you serious. So, and cussing is definitely it's a big part of vocabulary in a veteran's language. So, but but yeah, so that's one thing that in the professional world definitely have to kind of watch it. There's times like I'll be in a meeting and I'll drop an F bomb and not even know it, and next thing you know, my boss is like, "Hey, you need to check your language, bro."
That's funny, man. How do
Yeah.
you how do you kind of curate that message, or how do you curate the language, bro? Like, is there a filter all the time that you have to put there, or like just slowly it goes away over time, or
No, I gotta put a filter, dude.
okay.
Dude, like that's my everyday language. Like I said, I'm dropping F-bombs left and right, but it's still, it's how I talk to my kids too.
Dude, can
It's
can
crazy.
you can you give us a taste of what Eric sounds like just day to day outside of work? Like, what does it sound like, bro?
What I fucking sound like? I just talk like this, and I just like to fucking I just say fuck and I just cuss all the fucking time. You know,
Okay, that's
it's just
hilarious,
whatever,
dude.
dude. To me, it's nothing, man. So it's like I don't really care. And then like I cuss around my kids. I'm surprised that my kids don't cuss as much as my 2 year olds probably cuss more than my freaking 6 and 11 year old.
That's hilarious.
But it's hilarious, dude. But yeah, so I just to me, it's just not a thing. To me, it's like Gary Vee says, like you just got to live your authentic self, right? And if cussing is a part of you and it's ingrained in part of your language, I don't think that's going to hinder your ability to perform or do a job. And ultimately, to me, if I was a leader and I was in a meeting and somebody was dropping f-bombs, I wouldn't care, right? Because that's how I am. But
Yeah,
I get it. Like there's other people that it offends, and you got to make sure that you're aware in the professional environment that you're keeping the entire audience in your mind,
yeah.
and 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 that you're still being professional. Which I mean, honestly, that's one fucking thing I hate about the corporate world.
I feel
I'm
that. I
like,
feel that.
dude, I wish there was a little bit more like, hey, just be your authentic self. I'm like, oh, in that fucking case, all right, let's go.
In that fucking case, that's funny, dog. Um, so yeah, kind of like related to this question then, what are like some social scripts that were like really weird to you coming out, bro? Like when you got it, you're like, why do people talk like that? Why do they do shit like this? Like, are there any social conventions that are like super weird to you, um, that contrast with your own experience?
Um, that's a good question, dude. I have never thought about that. Yeah, so I mean that obviously like the professional world kind of conflicts, right? Because with the
What we just
military, I
thought,
mean,
what we just talked about, the yeah. But
right.
aside
But
from that,
um, I have to think about that one honestly. I've never thought about that.
no worries, no worries.
Let
Something
me
that
get back to you. Let me get back to you on that one. I haven't really thought about that one.
yeah, something to chew on. Sorry to interrupt you too, by the way. I'm not
No, no,
sure
no.
if
You're good.
were you going to say something different than what we just talked about, or was it pretty much like the professional? You got to curate what I say, no f bombs.
No, 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 no. It's um. I would say. I mean, obviously, the biggest one is whether you're in combat or not in combat. I mean, with the civilian world, I mean, I don't think I need to really worry about getting shot at. Whereas if you're in the military, you have that ability that have the potential of going to combat and being put into, life or death situation. So
Mm,
I think, you know, being in that civilian world, I have that sense of peace, I guess, that peace of mind where it's like I'm not going to go to a a combat zone and go get shot at and potentially, lose my life or, lose my buddy's going to lose their life or something like that. So it's having that sense of security and knowing that, you know, the civilian world is a little bit more safe
mm,
than being in the military and potentially having to go to combat. So there's that.
that's awesome, dude. And I'm happy that you're feeling like that peace of mind. Was it like a slow like letting go of the stress? What was that process like?
No, that was actually one of the hardest processes because when you're a combat vet, a lot of combat vets have invisible wounds, right? So they may not have gotten physically wounded, but they're coming back with invisible wounds with PTSD, depression, anxiety, all these mental illnesses, something like that it's sometimes harder to deal with than the physical freaking the physical issues. So it's like PTSD is something that I have from when I was over in combat, and it's something that just sticks with you. It's a daily burden that you have to deal with. Some days are better, some days are worse. And luckily I got a manager that's pretty flexible. So some days when I'm on the brink of a panic attack, it's like call my boss. I'm like, dude, it's one of those days. And he's like, no worries, take the day, So
Yeah.
um so also having that helps me, I think, be a better leader because it helps me empathize with my guys that if they're having any kind of, medical issues or any kind of issues like, mental health issues as well, then, I can kind of sympathize with them. So,
Mhm.
but, you know, trying to figure out how to deal with my PTSD was one of the biggest challenges. I mean, I was going down a really dark road. I was like down pretty much damn near an alcoholic, got fired from a couple jobs, it, um, I if I would have kept going down that path, I wouldn't be with my wife now. Like she wasn't gonna put up with that. So ultimately, she was one that really helped me with my drinking and helped me get on the right path. And so I'm grateful for her for that. And then also helped me quit smoking. So grateful for her on that one as well.
Dude,
But I
that's
think that what the biggest thing, like some guys, they will um, they use the gym as their coach. Like they have like the gym is what helps them with their PTSD, helps them keep their mindset and keeps their attitude right. Which I I definitely agree. I've kind of let myself go over the left and haven't worked out very much, but I need to get back into that. But for me, yeah, for me, it's just been just staying busy. So now it's
mm,
just like, I'm working a full time job, going to school, raising a family, uh, now trying to, I'm starting a business. So it's like I'm so busy now that it's just I don't have time to think about the effects of that PTSD, the flashbacks, the negative shit. I don't have time for it. So it's like, and in a way, I mean, that's not necessarily a good way to handle it either. It's more of just putting it on the back burner instead of actually dealing with the mental health issue. But there's tons of resources for mental health as well. So I know like the VA has mental health. There's other organizations that also partner with it. Um, so there's an organization here where I live in Reno, Nevada. It's called the Reno Vet Center, where they provide free counseling for veterans so that are suffering with PTSD or any kind of mental health, or even if they're just need like marriage counseling, like they'll offer that. But it's just free counseling that they offer for our vets, which is awesome. And ultimately, too, like that's another part of my business that I want to get to is I want to grow to a point where I can provide those counseling and those mental health services to vets for free as well, because that is, I think, such an important resource to have for veterans. And sometimes, depending on where you are, like not all VAs are great, right?
yeah.
I'm blessed to be in a location that has a great VA hospital, but oh, when I lived in Arizona, the VA in Arizona, it was fucking god awful. It was
Mm,
absolutely awful.
mm,
So, having other resources to be able to go to for mental health, to be able to help with your PTSD and help with, the those invisible wounds that they're dealing with is absolutely essential.
got it. Thank you, man. That's well, one, it speaks to the power of love. Like it's transformative. It really is. So it's a blessing to have such a wonderful wife. Um, I'm happy for you, man. That
Yeah,
sounds
thanks, dude.
fantastic. Yeah, and
Appreciate it.
as someone that doesn't really understand PTSD that well, like what is the experience of it like, dude? Like I don't want to make you like relive stuff, but like in general, like and how can people support someone like going through this?
So, I mean, it's kind of hard with somebody that doesn't have the same experiences, right? So this is kind of like the disconnect between veterans and civilians, right? It's
Yeah.
like they don't understand the challenges that veterans face as far as like combat and those combat wounds and things like that. So it's the only thing I can say to that is just need to remain open minded, remain empathetic with the challenges that they're experiencing. Sometimes some days they're going to be not on their game. Their mind is not going to be right.
Mm,
They're going to be off. There's times where I've days that I wake up and my anxiety's out the roof. I'm just incredibly irritable. Like anything just sets me off and I just get super angry. And those
mm,
are the days that I'll try and tell my boss, like, dude, I got to work from home today. Like
yeah.
I mean, I'm going to freaking choke slam somebody. So it's like, let's not do that. I prefer to keep my job.
Yeah, let's keep choke slamming off the table.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, so you just get irritable, and then like going out, like if I'm at a restaurant, I can't sit with my back to the door. I hate going in big crowds. Um,
That's the
you know,
situational awareness piece, right? The
that,
situational awareness.
yeah, that is. And then there's just the anxiety. And then it's just like, sometimes it's hard for me to connect and even connect with like my own family or kids because it's like sometimes that mental health shit's going on in my head and it's sometimes you have that like emotionless feeling where it's like they may be feeling a certain way and you're just like, well, just get the fuck over it, right?
Yeah,
But that's not how you should be. Really, you should be empathetic to them and their feelings, and sometimes because of that it's just you're just kind of emotionless.
got it,
So
bro.
you know
I I,
on
I
top of
appreciate you.
yeah, the, the lack of sleep, sometimes you get woken up by nightmares, things like that. So I mean, it's not a fun thing to deal with. Anybody that has PTSD and experiences it, it's not fun. It's not a great way to live. And if you don't find a way to manage it, it will consume you. And that's when that's when we that's when we see veterans commit suicide, right? And that's not what we want. We don't want to see vets committing suicide because they can't cope with their pain.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. The invisible wounds. That's something that I haven't considered that deeply. And yeah, psychological scars are can't see them sometimes, but they're there. Um, so again, appreciate your service, man. That's sounds difficult. One resource I really wanted to refer to you. Have you ever heard of Vipassana meditation?
I have not.
Okay, so this is it's called insight meditation, and it's basically a type of meditation where you gain insight into the root of what causes certain things in your life, and then by understanding the root of the issue kind of evaporates. And one thing that Vipassana meditation, Eric, is super, super helpful for is for deconditioning past conditioned responses to certain stimuli. So in this meditation, basically in life, any stimuli that anyone encounters, we usually have one of two responses. And the two responses are craving. Oh, I like this thing. Let me have it. Let me get it closer to me. Let me purchase this. Or aversion. Like, I don't like this thing. Get it away from me. This is not cool. Um, and either way, if I'm in craving or aversion, I'm basically adding energy to that conditioned response. I'm making that conditioned response even stronger. So every time my conditioned response becomes stronger and stronger, and I lose more control. Where Vipassana meditation, it teaches you to refrain from craving or trying to push it away. It's just observing the experience as it is and experiencing the discomfort. And it's almost like what happens is, boom, I see the stimulus, and then my conditioned response is like a wave. It's like a wave of energy. It's got a certain flow to it, and craving or pushing or pulling it adds energy to the wave, and the wave becomes bigger and stronger. But if you can sit there without doing either and just observe it, the wave gradually will lose its energy, bro. And then it flatlines into a peaceful, like, oh, like, cool, I don't have to respond to this. This is fantastic. And you can slowly recover your peace. and take the power away from those triggering stimuli, dude. So I think this would be a great tool for you and a great tool for vets in general. I practiced this for 7 years, and dude, like it's helped me get rid of so many of my conditioned responses to my past childhood traumas and stuff like, and it's given me a lot of freedom, a lot of peace of mind. So I definitely recommend you check this out, dude. The Vipassana meditation, it's a game changer. It's a game
I
changer.
love that. Yeah, thank you for, sharing that with me. I really appreciate it. It's something I'll definitely look into and and definitely, start doing a little bit of, and hopefully I can, like I say, get rid of some of that negative energy and that those negative thoughts, all the negativity, and I just, that's it, dude. I'm all about positivity and just want more positivity in my life, and so if I can get more of that from this, then I'm all on board, dude. I appreciate it. Thank you.
100%, man. 100%. Happy to share. And you definitely can. And it's not even about like getting rid of anything. It's just observing reality as it is. So the goal of this meditation is to experience reality as it is, um, not as you would like it to be, or as you fear it to be. It's just seeing the present moment experience. And the present moment experience, like the main things to learn is that like this too shall pass. Like that's a thought, it's a mantra, it's an affirmation, but it's actually the truth of existence. Like every single thing in our that we can experience is temporary, dude. So like when you understand that at the experiential level, it helps you to let go so much easier, dude. Because it's like, oh, this too shall pass. Like, bro, no worries. Like this too shall pass. Like this is extremely, extremely uncomfortable in my body, but this too shall pass. And when you stay there in the experience of it, just observing it, it's like, oh, fuck, that's super uncomfortable. Like this trauma sets off this tightness in my shoulder, which fucking sucks. But like, I just observe the thoughts. I don't identify with the thoughts. And as soon as the thought comes, the thought is gone. As soon as a thought comes, it's gone. Right.
Yeah,
So like this meditation has given me so much freedom, dude. Like seriously, it's incredible.
I love
Um,
it. When
yeah,
you're doing your meditations, how long are you sitting there and meditating for?
it varies, man. I meditate as much as possible. Sometimes it's like 20 minutes, sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's an hour. Um, but I always try to do it like first thing in the morning and first thing before I go to bed, because those are very good times to prime the mind. The mind is very sensitive. So when I wake up in the morning, I do it because that's what generates the momentum for the day. And then at night, I do it. And then I have 8 hours abiding in that mode. So I get my mind is like moving it in that direction of peace for 8 hours at night. So that's a good way to structure it in.
That's awesome, dude. I love that.
Thanks, bro. Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff, dude. But I forgot where we even were, dude.
I know we
um,
just totally got off a tangent there. That's awesome though. I love it.
yes.
Um,
Is there anything that you wish people knew about the experience of being a vet, like being a vet in civilian life after that most people don't know?
just like the experience of being a vet as in the civilian world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. Uh, well, don't get on a vet's bad side because here's the thing with a vet, and like if if you get on the bad side of a vet, then they've also a lot of vets nowadays have also gone and seen combat. They're trained killers. It's what they do. They go to war and like they're not. They will not fear you turn away from a fight. So they have that survival skill of like it's either you or me and them. So most of the time, like to me, I think that like a vet. Well, I'm trying to put it in a way without being just like a vet's gonna kick your ass essentially.
Yeah.
Most of them are. I mean, I'm sure there's some that are fucking pansies that will freaking get their ass kicked, but But to me, it's just they're not going to fucking steer away from a fight. Two, not only that, vets, I think they have a better mindset about not letting little things get to them,
Mm,
because I think that, when you're in the military, like you can't let the little things get to you because there's bigger problems at hand. So I think they have a better way, not necessarily a better way. I think they're better at just saying fuck it, whatever.
I
And
like it,
I'm
man.
that's one thing I know I'm definitely gonna like. Little thing, like I'll just say fuck it, whatever.
So what would quantify as something that's like a fuck it kind of thing?
Uh, so something small, like somebody may like if you're like driving to work, right, and you get a fucking flat tire, right?
Yeah.
Fuck it, dude. I mean, it's part of life. Shit happens.
Yeah.
Change the tire and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean,
It's
hopefully you know how to change a tire. If not, then well, that sucks.
called AAA, man.
I'll just call AAA. Yeah.
Yeah. Eric, I'm so curious, bro. So like when you're in active service, your 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 life is at risk. Like legitimately, your life is at risk, right? Like you're over there when you're in deployment, um, when you're deployed, like, and then when you come back to civilian life, like there's fears for everybody. Everyone has fears, but like, is there anything? I mean, like, why would a vet? I feel like, I feel like if a vet could handle, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but like my stream of consciousness, like I feel like if a vet could get the mental health really, really right, like strong, like civilian life would be a piece of cake, I feel like, bro. Cause like this shit that we're doing, like it causes discomfort to start a business. Sure, it causes discomfort to try to sell something. It causes discomfort to market something. But my life's not at risk. Like you actually like your life was actually like at risk, like legit. Like what I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on this rambling that I just had, this stream of consciousness? Because like why are we scared of anything? Like, I guess that's the question.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. I think, I mean, ultimately, it's just human nature to can find things scary, right? I mean, even, you know, accumulating a lot of money is scary,
Mm,
right? Because it's like, well, okay, like my whole life, I've only been accustomed to having so much money.
mm,
But if I have a business and that thing just blows up, and next thing you know, I'm making millions of dollars, it's like, well, that's scary because what am I going to do with that? What am I going to do with $1 million? Am I going to keep it? Am I going to maintain that level of wealth? Or is it
mm,
because I don't know how to, handle that type of wealth because I've never had it and I've never been accustomed to having that type of wealth? Is that, am I going to lose it all? Right.
mm.
So it's like, and this is the thing that you hear all the time, right? From the School of Hard Knocks, right? Jake and those guys, like, when they interview the entrepreneurs they're interviewing, right? It's like,
Yeah.
have you ever been broke? Like, a lot of the time, like, fuck yeah, dude. Over and over again. They make $1 million and they lose it. Make $1 million and they lose it. Right? So it's like, yeah, dude, that shit's scary. Because it's like, yeah,
Mm.
and ultimately, maybe it's not making the $1 million, but maybe it's that losing it and feeling like a failure that's scary.
Oh, I see.
Failure, right? And failure is scary to everybody, but that's where the mindset comes in play because to me it's like if you look at failure as a negative thing, then you're not going to ever take any risk or chances because you're not going to be willing to fail.
Yeah.
And failure is our greatest teacher.
Mm. I love that. And
So
I absolutely agree too.
yeah.
Yeah. Dude, like I guess yeah, I hear you. And it's interesting to hear this from your perspective too. Because I was thinking like, bro, if I literally was getting shot at, like my life was at risk, like this shit would be nothing. Like like starting a business, having $1 million, like it should be a piece of cake, like in my mind. But it was cool to hear it from your perspective as well. Because, like, if you think about it, what's scarier, bro? Like being a failure or your life is at risk? I'm being fucking shot at, dude. Like, And that this inspired because you brought up small things comment. I was thinking, wouldn't all things be small things? Like after I'm peaceful, I'm safe, like after getting shot at, like wouldn't all things be small things?
Yeah, I guess it depends on your outlook on it.
Mm.
Some people handle getting shot at a little bit better than others.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Oh, it's crazy,
Um,
man. It's crazy.
yeah,
It's
so I think, yeah, I think so. I think it's all about perspective, right? And it's all about the person that you are, and your your mental strength and what kind of attitude and mindset that you have, not just on like your reality in the moment, but just on life in general. So it's just, if you look at getting shot at and going overseas as a bigger problem than risking your livelihood to start a business, because maybe that livelihood to you is the same thing as like, well, if I fail, I could become homeless. If I'm homeless, then I might as well be dead anyways,
interesting. Interesting.
right?
I
So
see.
some people might have that type of mindset,
Yeah,
right? So it's like, well, now they're connecting the two, and it's just like, well, okay, but ultimately you have to have, and this is one thing I love about entrepreneurship, is because it's such a positive environment,
mm,
and why I think that any veteran with PTSD or anything like that, like entrepreneurship is such a great journey and path to pursue because of how positive it is, and meeting meeting different people, the connections that you make. Like, if I didn't pursue entrepreneurship, like Kyle, you and I would have never met. And I am very thankful to have met you, because you seem like you're a very knowledgeable person. You're very pleasant to talk to. Your mindset is incredible. And these are the types of people that I enjoy being around, because it helps put me into that positive mindset. It helps give me motivation to keep pushing and pursuing my dreams of, you know, creating a successful business and helping other vets, right? So it's like, this is the most positive environment that you could possibly be in, and I think it's one of the best environments that vets can put themselves into.
dude, and that should be a core messaging of your school group. Because like as you stated that right here, like I think a lot of vets coming on, like they probably don't understand if they're not an entrepreneur themselves, they don't understand how positive this environment is, how growth oriented this environment is, and the type of people that you'll encounter. So like this should be a part of the core messaging as well. Like, hey, I'm laying out this entrepreneurial journey for you because it's a beautiful path to follow, because it's a healing path to follow, because it's an empowering path to follow where you'll meet all these people. So like I really appreciate you, man. I appreciate the feedback. One thing I want to drop for you real quick. So a lot of mentors coming on, bro, they have what I like to call invincible frames of mind. So like it's if you adopt any of these invincible frames, like you will be invincible in life in terms of mindset. And one big one is the 100% success principle. So I see it like this, like, bro, let's say I went up, I asked a girl for her number and I got rejected, right? Some people will see that as a failure, but for me, it's like, well, I successfully got rejected by that girl. I succeeded. And here's why I say it, because it's all about belief, bro. Like belief, belief is what makes this experience real or not real for me. But if I can successfully believe that I'm a failure, I can successfully believe that I'm a success as well. So one, what it does is like, well, bro, I just successfully got rejected by that girl. One, I'm in the identity of a successful person, and then I can say, well, now I can successfully do it better next time, and I'll actually get her number next time. But the subtle part is the power of belief, right? And whether I deem I'm a success or a failure, that is the prerequisite for that is I have to successfully believe that I'm a success or a failure. And so I'm always coming from a place of success because it's belief that empowers the thought. And if your belief, eh, it's impossible to fail with belief because it's always what empowers the thought, dude. So I'm always the success, and it just keeps the positive momentum going. Like, I I don't think I presented that very well this time. I
No,
think I'm a big, but
I,
what are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree with you. I think that belief is huge, and I think that if you truly believe in yourself to the core that you are a success, then you inevitably will be a success. I
Yes.
mean, I think the universe has a way of rewarding, mindset. And I mean, I don't know, I haven't looked much into it. I don't know how much of it, but I've been seeing a lot of stuff about manifestation, right? And I think that's a huge part of manifestation is having that belief system and really believing deep down to your core that something is going to happen in a specific way or you're going to achieve something and then it happens.
Mm,
It's like, hey, like I'm thinking of my army buddy Nick, like, hey man, it's like, it's like these situations like this manifestation, right? You're like, hey, I really really miss him, and you're like really feeling it, like I haven't seen him in a long time. I want to know how he's doing, and then next thing you know,
Nick's calling.
Nick's calling. It's like what? I'm like, dude, right? So I think that if you truly truly believe to your core that you are a success, you absolutely inevitably will be a success.
Yes, I agree 100%. And like we're always succeeding because it's always the belief that's empowering whatever thought, right? So if I believe I'm a failure, I'm successfully believing that I'm a failure.
Yeah,
So even underneath the failure identity, I'm successfully empowering that belief. So ultimately, I'm still successful, bro. Like,
absolutely. But one thing I kind of got from that as well is it kind of goes back to Jocko Willink's thing of extreme ownership, right?
mm,
Not are you owning you're believing that you're a failure, but you're also owning that fact that yeah, I'm a
mm,
failure, right?
mm.
So now you're taking that ownership and accountability for that. And now you're able to take that and learn from it and
Yes,
implement
yes.
that in the future to be more of a successful failure.
Well, more of a successful success. More of a successful
hopefully,
success.
hopefully become more successful. But if you fail again, then yeah, it's that loop. You just repeat it.
Yeah. The goal of this is to keep the dip as little as possible. Well, so like instead of being like, yeah, I'm a fucking failure, da 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 da. No, it's like, no, bro, like I successfully got rejected. That's a success. I'm a successful person. Let's fucking go. And I can do it better next time.
Yep.
But I love the piece about ownership too. Um, there's so much here to connect, like with manifesting, bro. Like what you said, one thing that I've heard a lot about manifesting is focus on the what, not the how, right? Because there's
Yeah.
this whole universe that we're in this interplay with. And if we focus too much on the how, we're constraining the possibilities. So if you just focus more on the vision and leave the how to the universe, bro, it's gonna line it up for you way better. And a lot more synchronicities are gonna happen, like Nick calling, bro. Like, um, so did that actually happen, by the way?
No, no. I mean, not right now, but it it has happened in the past for sure.
That's cool. That's cool. And then there's another great one. This guy's an OG in manifestation, bro. His name's Neville Goddard. I don't know if you've heard of him, but
Yeah, I think I've heard of them. I haven't really looked in too much into it though because I don't know. I just haven't looked too much into the manifestation. I still don't know how much I'm on board with it. But
so let me explain it to you, bro. It's actually way more simple than most people think. It's super simple. It's thoughts become words, become things, and this is how it all happens, bro. Everything in our world begins as a thought. The first principle of Think and Grow Rich is thoughts become things. And is it true or is it not true, Eric, that every single invention that we have first had to begin as a thought in the mind of mankind or
Yeah,
humankind?
absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, now that that's established, everything begins as a thought. Here's how manifestation works. Every single thing that I own in my environment, everything that you own in your environment that you interact with, like you manifested this shit. You did. And like I can prove it. So let's say I want to get a pizza, right? The thought enters. Here's how the process happens. The thought of pizza enters. It's a seed. It's a seed. It's still a seed. At this point, I can choose to plant it and continue with the manifestation process, or I can let it go. Let's say I choose to continue with it. I plant the seed. This is metaphorically. I plant the seed in the soil. I water the seed, give it some sunlight, it grows, and then boom, I have my plant. In real life, that means, hey, bro, yeah, I want like a double stuffed cheese, double sausage pizza, extra large. I'll pick it up in 20 minutes. So it goes from the thought to the speech
Yep.
element. And then from speech, it goes to, okay, I'll come in 20 minutes, I'll pick it up. I go to Pizza Hut, I pick up my pizza, and boom, here's this physical reality in front of me that I'm interacting with, right? And it
Yeah.
began as a thought, it began as an idea. And every single thing in your life, dude, look around you, like your headphones,
Yeah.
your chair, your sweater, like all these, it went through the same process of thought, speech, action, maybe even without the speech sometimes, but thought to action. And then that's manifestation, dude. People make it woo woo, but it's just thoughts becoming things. And Buddhism is cool because Buddhism labels there's three levels of karma. Karma is just action done with an intention behind it and the results of that action, the fruits of that action. That's what karma actually is in the Buddhist definition of it. And the Buddha says there's three levels of karma. There's thought, speech, and physical action. Of the three, which one do you think is the most important to control initially?
To me, I would say it's your thoughts.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, because thought is the seed of everything else. So
Yeah.
that's how manifestation works, bro. It's super simple and like it's quantifiable, bro. Like I went to the shop, I had the idea, I want to get a nice gift for someone. And then I saw this book. I'm like, well, that's actually kind of cool looking, like a nice binding, price is chill. And then I went to talk to the store owner. Thoughts became words. How much is this? Can I buy this? Yeah, sure, no worries. I pull up my phone, I scan it. I come home with this physical reality, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
Makes
it.
sense to me. It's
Yeah,
that's awesome. No, yeah, I love it. It makes sense.
yeah. So that's manifestation, bro. It's super simple.
All right. Well, you sold me. I'm on board with it.
Let's, let's go. Let's go. Ah, well, speaking of that, bro,
But
I think I want to manifest a big bowl of noodles.
yeah, I don't blame you. It's 9 o'clock p.m. my time, so I got to get the kids to bed, get myself to bed, get up
Yeah,
early. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me, man. I really appreciate you and your insights and just the simple conversation, man. You're a pleasant person to talk with, so I really appreciate it.
thanks, Eric, bro. I really appreciate you too, man. Thanks for all the insights about the fascinating life of a vet. It's super cool, and I'm stoked for your community, bro. Seriously, you're gonna help a lot of people, serve a lot of vets that really need it. So yeah, bro. I appreciate you coming on, guys. This was Kai with Chinese Renaissance Man and my man Eric. Um, and we will catch you on the next episode. Peace, guys.